Hi, my name is Carolina.
And I'm Raven. This is Government Game.
Today we will be discussing how democracy has changed over the years in the U.S.
American democracy is constantly changing. Democracies are on average richer than non-democracies and less likely to go to war and have a better record of fighting corruption. More fundamentally, democracy lets people speak their minds and shape their own future.
However, the United States has become a byword for gridlock. So obsessed with partisan point scoring that it has come to the verge of defaulting on its debts twice in the past 2 years. Its democracy is also corrupted by gerrymandering, the practice of drawing constituency boundaries to entrench the power of incumbents. This encourages extremism, because politicians have to appeal only to the party faithful, and in effect disenfranchises large numbers of voters.
In American politics, money talks louder than words. Thousands of lobbyists add to the length of complexity in legislation. The better to smuggle and special privileges. All this creates the impression that American democracy is for sale and that the rich have more power than even as lobbyists, the honors insist that political expenditure is an exercise in free speech. This image, and by extension the democracy itself, has taken a terrible battering.
Levi will be talking with the community and discussing the issues of democracy.
Do you believe there are any court cases that relate to democracy?
Sure. There are many court cases that relate to democracy. The first one off the top of my head have to do with voting rights that give especially women the right to vote. We didn't originally have that. We weren't really considered citizens, you know. So that's the first one that I think of.
Thank you. What did the Marbury v. Madison case do?
It set up judicial review and allowed the Supreme Court to declare an act of Congress void if it is inconsistent with the Constitution.
Democracy changed since it was first established to now.
I think democracy has changed by the population has gotten a lot larger, so now we have to be representative democracy rather than everyone just voting for what they want. I think the people probably have a lot less of a choice now because we don't get to vote on everything that happens in Congress, so yeah.
The U.S. is actually a republic, not a democracy. Accurately defined, a democracy is a form of government in which the people decide policy matters directly, similar to how the Greeks did it in Athens. Since the U.S. is home to about 300 million people, a direct democracy would be almost impossible.
Okay, since we're not a direct democracy, but we're not fully republic, then what are we?
We're a representative democracy, which is the system of government in which all eligible citizens vote on representatives to pass laws for them.
What roles do political parties play in democracy?
Political parties are an essential component of democracy. By competing in elections and mobilizing citizens behind particular versions of society, as well as through their performance in legislature, parties offer citizens meaningful choices and governance avenues for political participation and opportunities to shape their country's future.
Tocqueville wrote one of the most influential books of the 19th century, Democracy in America. He admired American individualism, but warned that a society of individuals can easily become atomized and paradoxically uniform when every citizen, being isolated to the rest, is lost in the crowd. He felt that a society of individuals lacked the intermediate social structures, such as those provided by the traditional hierarchies. To mediate reactions with the state, the result could be democratic tyranny of the majority, in which individual rights were compromised.
The Washington Times claims that America is no longer a democracy envisioned by the Founding Fathers. Rather, it has taken a turn down illicit lane and become a country led by a small dominant class compromised of powerful members who exert total control over the general population. In other words, an oligarchy. A study found that the U.S. government now represents the rich and powerful, not the average citizen. Overall, the central point that emerges is that economic elites and organized groups representing business interests have substantial independent impacts on U.S. government policy, while mass-based interest groups and average citizens have little or no independent influence.
This is all the time we have left. My name is Raven.
And I'm Carolina, and this is Government Gang. Tune in with us next time.
Bye.